What's up, YouTube? It has been a while. This is my first making something video back. I needed to recenter and realign with honestly who I am. I've been doing this business thing for quite some time now, my whole life has just been business, business, business. I'm not going to get into any gory details pretty much. Other than I just needed a period kind of figuring out who I was as an adult. I'm sure I will talk about that kind of stuff more in a video in the future. And now we're here to make a super sick personal item. If you've noticed or have been following my channel, I look a little different right now than I did in my last post. That is because I have lost over 55 pounds. So with that being said, I've made health one of my biggest hobbies, all different kinds of forms, hiking, going on walks. I still love to skateboard, but I do really enjoy biking as well as hiking. And then my favorite, I do pretty much every day, like 6 days a week, 7 days a week sometimes, is lifting weights. There's something about it in my caveman DNA, something to it about just grunting and just exerting yourself and feeling like the vein in your neck like popping and just going. It's intoxicating to me. Like I said, that's just my caveman genetics inside of me. For me, it is unga bunga, pick up something heavy, and that's it. Pretty much for no reason at all. It is a huge part of my life now. Whenever anything is anybody's lifestyle, what do you need? You need accessories. So I have actually already made myself a weightlifting belt. Pretty sick if I do say so myself. But you see I got some floral. You know I had to keep it scary. Throw in some skulls in there. Keep the Western stuff going. Boom, floral coming out of the skull's nose. Real hardcore, real Western. Then a big, boom, so-sack blaster across the back. And then more hardcore stuff. Boom, another skull with floral busting out of it. I know what you're thinking.
If you already made yourself a weightlifting belt, why are you gonna make yourself a second weightlifting belt?
And that is because I've lost a gang of weight and it just doesn't fit me anymore. I'm just gonna make a new one. I'm splurging on myself. So the way I'm sizing it is that hole that you saw, that is the last hole that I'm on right now. I size it to where that's gonna be out here so I can adjust a little bit in. The very last thing I did change was the width of it. So I kind of wish that I had made it a little bit wider. I'll be rocking this thing in Fort Worth. So the new gym I'm going to is pretty hardcore. It is not a anytime fitness or a 24-hour fitness. It is like a dungeon brick building place. So I'm pretty excited about that. Here I come. We're gonna lift some weights and we're gonna be the most Versace cowboy fucking lifting compound ever. They just don't know it yet. Without further ado, in my fucking too long of an intro, I'm gonna get drawing on this thing. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for having me back. If you're still watching my YouTube, you're the shit. Bam, boom, bow. So for this belt, I wanted to kind of go with the same themes as the last belt. I kind of wanted to make it a little more Western, but also a little more spooky. So I ended up going with the Grim Reaper, a big old bull skull across the back. You could see that's kind of taking the place of the last name I had before. And then another skull. Skulls are always sick. I love skulls. It's just badass. You can't really go wrong with them. And then in the middle with that bull skull, to kind of incorporate some of that Western stuff, I threw some cactuses and some landscape kind of elements of the desert. And then I wanted to keep the rose designs as well. You'll see I have a ton of roses. That is my trusty rose stash. I have like tons and tons of roses because that's kind of my go-to flower. It's one of the things that I'm known for. So I like to keep them kind of on hand. You'll see that I trace it, but then I come back in with a pencil, and that is to kind of give each rose a little bit of a different shape. Those stencils are more kind of guidelines to give me an idea of how that specific rose is shaped. You know, some are larger, some are smaller, some are bloomed more. You know, some the outer petals are kind of blooming more than the inner petals, and it just gives me a good variety. So you'll see I am throwing in those big roses in the key kind of places, and then from there I'm drawing my floral out to fill in any extra gaps between any of those roses, as well as the skulls and the other design elements that I have going. I also tried to include some of my scroll work and incorporate that into the other elements. You can see I have the floral busting out of that skull at the end, and then I have some vines looping around the horns of the skull as well. That stuff kind of just keeps all the design super concise. It makes it seem like I put everything into place for a super specific reason. You know, it's not like it's just filled in the empty background space. Like ultimately it is, but when you actually loop those petals and incorporate them into the design, it's going to give you just a much cooler, more thoughtful looking piece when you're done with it. And then we went in and swivel knifed it, and then we start tooling it. So you will see I start out by beveling everything. This is going to give us super crispy bevels before we start to go into the other details. I'm a big proponent of beveling first. Some people bevel, last. I like beveling first. I personally think it gives your design more depth. I'm very big on trying to get as deep of tooling as I can versus more faded tooling. It's kind of a trade-off. Some tools go very deep and some tools bevel far out. So with the Berry King 45s, I just love how they bevel, and you can get a real nice deep bevel on them. And then we move over to the pear shader, which gives all those petals um, that detailed look, so they're not just flat, beveled lines. And then from there, we're going to go on to the other tooling. And I am a big fan of going beveler, pear shader, and then scallop tool, and then background last. I like doing the background last. That way it just really sinks that background deep, giving the appearance of all your foreground tooling and vines and all that stuff. Just it really helps it pop and seem a lot more in the foreground if you smash the background down last. And then you'll see I kind of go into the other textures. I will kind of go out of order depending on what it is specifically I'm tooling. Like for example, I'm finished tooling, but then I do, all the detail work on the skull last. I like kind of going out of order in that sense sometimes, just to make the tooling on certain objects or subjects kind of pop a little bit more. It makes it seem a little more thought out, in my opinion. And then we get into, stain, paint, all that good stuff. That way, everything kind of just pops super nice. I don't really have a method to my madness when it comes to I'm painting or staining. The only real kind of order of operation I have when it comes to that is, if I'm using, multiple colors or layering colors, I'll kind of try and be a little strategic. That way I don't have to get another brush dirty or clean a brush and come back and that whole ordeal. I usually kind of just move from left to right so I'm not getting my hands in any of the paint. I'll go all the way through with the white and then I'll come back with the red, kind of just go in a wiping from left to right type of pattern. And then from there, we'll let that dry, give it a coat of resist, and then throw some stain on it. I'll wipe off a preliminary kind of rough round of getting most of the stain off, and then I'll come back with a wet towel or wet rag and buff off all the excess kind of stain that's collected on there. Then we're going to go ahead and glue the back down, sew this bad boy together, and get this show on the road. I'm going to trim off the edges, do all the edge work, hit it with the sander, dye it, and then slick down the edges with some wax as well. Alright, so today's finally the freaking day, I swear to God. This buckle got lost somewhere in the mail. Yeah, I ordered this shit like 3 weeks ago, and it got lost somewhere in UPS. It was like, now leaving fucking Ohio. It just like left Ohio, and then it was like message error, package somewhere in the UPS system. Sorry. I don't know what it was. I was feeling it. I was like, please show up today. Because today is my favorite day at the gym. It is pull day. So I'm super hyped. I'm going to bang this out. I'm telling you, I'm a pull day boy. Monday's International Chest Day. No, yeah, maybe. For people who are dumb. It's just like so much jingly jangly. All right. And here I am punching all the holes and making a pattern for any of the ones I'll do in the future. Here it is. Insert metal. So I'm pretty hyped. I'm gonna try it on. Boom, that initials perfectly at the end. All right, let me see if I can. Oh my God. This is so much more support than the last one. Holy fuck. I have to get used to this. Let me see if I can push out against it. Okay. It feels so good. Oh yeah, so then you walk around. Ooh, we got the Grim Reaper out. Sheesh. All right, gonna go test the weight belt out. Just gotta do my pre-gym ritual for you guys real quick. We're all gonna make it.
Burgerlicious definition make them boys go crazy. They always claim they know me, coming to me, call me Stacy.
At the gym, I got hella PRs. Fucking exhausted. I don't ever really try run 1-rep maxes. Anyways, I'm fucking really pooped, so we're gonna go do the only logical gym bro thing, and we're gonna go get some Chipotle. It's burrito time, baby. Fucking little burrito. So Chipotle was closed, so I did the next best thing, the most gym bro meal I could think of, some protein pancakes. The weight belt went great. It was really fun to make. I'm super hyped on it. It's really, really comfortable. I was at the gym. I hit a couple new personal records on my 2 favorite machines. The seated row machine. I got 5 plates for 3 reps, which I've never even tried 5 plates, so that was super nice. And then I did a very, very, very sloppy seated row like pull down thing. I don't even know what the machine's called. And I was honestly just so hyped to like use my belt for a bunch of different exercises. Like, how does it feel in this one? How does it feel in that one? So that was really nice. But anyways, I'm like wiped out. I need to eat something, so I'm gonna get making sure my pancakes aren't burning. Thank you guys for tuning in, all that good stuff. Link to all my other stuff down below. I'm super active on the Instagrams. Tag along there with a very, 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 very low energy, exhausted conclusion. Here's a video of me eating pancakes. Canada Dry, sponsor me.